Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to YouTube Unsolved once more. This is Season 2, Episode number 2, the deadly computer virus that's spread by simply watching a video on YouTube. So yeah, more mysterious YouTube mysteries that we're going to try to actually solve this time. I'm not going to be completely useless this episode, I promise you. We're going to be attempting to finally put this thing to rest. So without further hesitation, let's get straight into the background of this whole situation. And please make sure that you're not about to go to sleep after this video, or planning on going to some pirating website and downloading a game for free, because if you're doing either of those two after this, you'll regret it. The following are excerpts from the account of a submitter to my email. They are the personal story of encountering and dealing with the ramifications of this unsolved mystery. The details have also been verified by other online users in far more stranger light, but we'll get into all of that later. N42 Mosli, also known as N42 Eris, translated from Korean, was the name of a YouTube channel that posted a video that was very harmless looking and appealing. I found the channel after coincidentally finishing a binge watch of the BuzzFeed Unsolved series, of which put me in the mood to equal my psyche out with some nice peaceful vibes. The video in question, which was the first I saw, appeared in the homepage after a few refreshes later. Unusual, because I guess I'm a normie, and mostly I watch popular videos that already have a lot of views. But this one was nothing but a cat in the thumbnail, with merely a couple hundred or so, by an unverified channel. Cute Kitten Tries to Make Jump was the actual full title. The cute was spelled specifically with K for some reason. I hovered over the image, for it to show indeed a preview of a small cat. Seemed enjoyable to me. After all, it would be something to leave my mind on before I went off to bed. The video took more than usual or expected time to load. I mean, I have not the best internet, but most videos only take a second at most. This one took a full 20 seconds of loading, while the rest of the page was already fully there. Turns out, it was just some random video of a small white cat, just failing to jump from a nightstand or something, and then running off. The filmer was silent the entire time, not reacting to it, but the video ran for an extra 9 seconds after the cat ran off with nothing else happening, which was slightly odd. There were absolutely no related videos on the sidebar to it, just dumb Vine comps and some game theory vids. The video I was on, though, had its likes and comments completely blocked, as well as the channel with the Asian lettering having no subscriber count. I clicked it to see if they had any other videos related, as the original 18-second long one just wasn't satisfying enough for me. But when I got to the channel, a big red bar containing the message of "This channel is not available" appeared, leaving me on a blank page. It wasn't a channel terminated message, but unavailable, apparently. I'd seen messages like this before on other channels due to copyright laws or something, so it's not like it was entirely off-putting. But it was annoying to me, of course, because I knew it meant I now had no excuse not to just give up and go to sleep without getting my needed fix. So that was it. I turned off the school-loaned laptop the normal way as ever and just jumped straight into bed. Alright, so this was January 2017 as for background information of when exactly this whole thing took place. Now basically, the submitter, who the first name is Wilbur, and that's the only alias that they wanted to go by, you found a nice, normal-looking video on YouTube that was about cats. And, well, traditionally speaking, no one doesn't like cats, so you would obviously click that video because why wouldn't you? The problem is it didn't have that many views, and when you see a channel with a weird name, a foreign title name, and then a video that doesn't have that many views, you start wondering what you're doing with your life. You might just be accidentally stumbling upon the dark side of YouTube. Everyone knows when you're there, but no one really knows how to describe it when you're not there. But of course, this is just the whole beginning of this entire thing, and as usual, the dark, deep, horrible spiral of terrible events is just going to continue, so let's get on with it. Okay, so sometimes, just like any other Windows computer, the thing takes forever to shut down because all of a sudden Microsoft decides it's update time without even asking you. But this was ridiculous. The screen just stayed on the blue loading screen with a spinning circle without any dialogue for about 30 minutes, essentially blasting light all throughout the small apartment I have. All in all, it ain't possible to sleep like that. I angrily got up and slammed the thing shut. The thing never turned off, by the way. All throughout the night, I would briefly awaken to see the light still escaping from the fold. I woke up a few hours later to a horrible screeching sound coming straight from the laptop. It was the last thing that you want to hear in a dark room all by yourself in the middle of the night. Like nails on a chalkboard sound on 100% volume. After opening and closing it many times without anything happening, me ripping out the battery strip finally put an end to it. I'll admit, I was extremely unnerved. Think back to the childhood feeling that you would experience directly after waking from a nightmare and lying there, still in the dead of night. That deep feeling of fear pretty much sums it up. Gotta just get the piece of crap to IT in the morning. Simple, I thought. Just an old junk XP laptop. The name of the channel that uploaded this video is going to be of key importance, so just remember it. It's translated from Korean, from N42, whatever you say that in Korean language, to N42 Aris, like A-R-R-I-S. Basically, this is going to be the key component that we're going to need to unlock the final and conclusion here. I woke up the next morning early because I wanted to first go and get the thing looked at, since I needed it for study prep that day. When I opened the laptop up, everything seemed normal until I passed the login and into the desktop. The horrid screech returned instantly. My wallpaper was also not the way that it was the last time I checked. Matter of fact, it was a terrible red image of some gore or something that I don't even want to explain or think back on. All the files maintained their names, but had all blank file images to them. The only file that was clickable on it was a text file named jpenchanted.txt. My mouse was horrendously slow and laggy, but I managed. In the file was a list of all my private website passwords, friends' contact numbers, bank info, and even social security number, listed one line at a time, the whole way down. Long story in a short one, I took out the battery again and brought the thing into IT an hour later. It was trash beyond repair. There was actual physical damage to the interior of the PC due to the strain of whatever virus was on it had on all night. A literal hole in my hard drive. I most certainly was not on any website or place I could have gotten anything like that from except YouTube the previous day. The last video before anything hitting the fan being that stupid 18-second long kitten video. Got a new laptop since then, and never watching another cat video again. What the Wow. So that was a lot. I mean, you could say that that was quite a loaded story right there. As you can imagine, if this were to happen to me, well, I'd pee my pants and then throw away my computer, move to a different country, you know, same old thing over and over again. There's a whole lot more that goes into all of this, which is going to help us figure out the end to conclusion of this entire thing, which is why you need to stay tuned, because this is not just an ordinary virus. This thing has roots to something far darker and deeper than this. So with all that being said, you know what time it is. The virus that was encountered by Wilbur, the submitter of this experience, was clearly a very sinister piece of malware, called a Trojan horse virus. To explain what that means, we can use this analogy. The different types of viruses that are most commonly known and used are the following. Adware. The least malicious by nature, but very intrusive and annoying. Stay off those types of websites to avoid it. Ransomware. A very simplex but devastating form of virus that cannot be reversed naturally, and damages a user's files in hopes of a ransom being paid. Spyware. One of the worst forms of virus, intended to get your info or personal data directly through the means of infiltrating your computer and monitoring you or your activities. Malware. Very wide-ranging in severity, from as simple as Bonsai Buddy to My Doom. You don't want this stuff on your computer. Universally, the only intention behind this form of worm is to damage your computer, harvest your info, and overall, give you a bad time. The characteristics of Wilbur's virus, yes, that's what we're calling it for now, share most of that of malware. Of course, that is until we start discussing the more key and disturbing details of this case. This virus appeared to have come from literally nowhere. As you can imagine, that's not how software works. It can't just teleport onto your PC and shove a purple monkey in your face without you doing something wrong. That's what leads us to the video that the submitter watched directly before bed. The innocent cat video uploaded by a channel named N42 Aris. Now, this video was very innocuous, obviously. Just a cat jumping off of a nightstand and then running away. Now, there's no actual video of this video because nothing unusual was to be expected going on when Wilbur first saw it, of course. What we do know about this video is that it had blocked ratings, comments, and a subscriber count from the channel page, along with the account itself being entirely blocked upon going to it. Even today, when going to the original channel link, the page displays this. The missing puzzle piece of this whole thing, however, surprisingly lies in two aspects of this case: the channel name itself, and the file found on Wilbur's computer before its destruction. And the reason for this is actually straightforward. Through the work of some digging through the code of another very serious, and this time well-known virus, WannaCry, a worm that actually made rounds throughout the world in that same year this all took place, 2017, we can find some striking similarities. There is a certain protocol function in the base code that contains the keyword jpenchanted.bat as a command to execute a file in the form of an operation. It's thought that this aspect of the code is one that acts as a string back to the encrypted host, which the data of the victim's computer is sent to. And the fact that this file in a text format was found on Wilbur's PC with a completely different and obviously far more sinister virus indicates a major thing. Now here's where the theory comes in. What the whole thing is rooted in is the WannaCry virus, which started going viral and affecting thousands if not millions of people later on in that same year, 2017. The whole idea is that the creators of this virus wanted to test it out by sending low-quality bootleg versions of a different virus which had the same type of code and technology, just to be able to see if they could adequately steal people's information but not really encrypt their files like the official WannaCry virus ended up doing, just scare the living crap out of anyone who got this virus. And, well, in the process of Wilbur, one of the original people I can imagine who ever got this, they somehow managed to stop the virus or glitch it because of the fact of them taking out the computer's battery, messing around with it, opening it, closing it, leaving it on all night. The whole thing was just really kind of messed up. Leaving the text file, which as we know to be called jpenchanted.txt, on the computer. I believe this text file had all this person's information on there, and it was meant to be sent through the encrypted signal virus that was on the person's computer, but it wasn't, because, well, somehow the virus was stopped in his tracks, rendering his information that was on this computer officially not compromised. It's because of this that the conclusion we can come to is that the original virus, which was encountered by others as well through the other means which weren't well documented, was a test boot virus from the unknown WannaCry's creator's YouTube channel. It does make sense, since the channel's name translates to N42 Eris from Korean, the presumed location source that the WannaCry virus later started from. The goal of this virus was to test the capability of what they were developing, all the while scaring the hell out of anyone who received it. Clearly the Wilbur virus has been gotten a hold of at some point, because it was eventually completely revamped and recreated as a publicly downloadable virus by a few developers, now known as the Windows Long Hell virus. Even though the most graphic and dangerous aspects of the original virus were removed over time in multiple versions, it still maintains the level of scary destructiveness as it did before. This has also gravitated the attention of reaction-style YouTubers to use it for video content while on virtual machines, reacting to its nowadays very creepypasta-like behavior, not knowing the deeper roots involving it in this mystery. It is still entirely unknown how this virus managed to download itself through the means of a video on YouTube onto Wilbur's computer, and most likely, we will never be able to understand or observe the technology that made this possible. Meaning that scarily enough, it surely still exists out there and could be still lying in the midst of any YouTube video on Earth. So yeah, at the end of the day, Wilbur managed to unsuspectingly dodge a virtual bullet here. He would have lost all of his personal information. Now yes, the downside is that you lost an entire computer, which didn't even belong to you. It was loaned to you by the school, so technically you didn't own the computer, but all the information on there was owned by you, which nothing happened to because you managed to stop the virus in its tracks by doing all the things that they did. So I think that's a big W if you ask me, and in my opinion, this could provide evidence, if looked into deeper, as to who the makers of WannaCry actually are. Still undiscovered. We might be leading on to the big discovery of an actual crime here with YouTube Unsolved. So now that we have all that covered, I guess we can officially say that this mystery is now half solved. 50% we solved it. We're not entirely sure. But I could say, in my own mind, about 100% we solved the mystery. So please don't be going on questionable websites. Don't be clicking on 18-second specifically long kitten videos. So anyways, thanks for watching this episode of YouTube Unsolved. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next installment. Until then, goodbye.